Hi everybody, and welcome to Session 7. I'm going to look at several documents while I talk to you. The first one I'm going to look at right now is the course plan. We're in Session 7. It goes from Monday, April 8th to Sunday, April 21st. This session does not have a long cutoff window. Remember, all the sessions before it have had a 1-week cutoff window for Dropbox assignments. This one only has a 3-day cutoff window. If you don't get your stuff in by Wednesday midnight, that Wednesday after Sunday, April 21st, so April 26th, then it's over. There's no turning it in, okay? So be on top of your work, look at what you've done, look at your grades, ask lots of questions, and we'll get it all figured out. So in this session, you've got the Promethean flip chart assignment, which is brand new, and I really hate to load you up at the end of the semester, and I have not loaded you up here at the end of the semester with lots of big projects or anything like that. In the past, I've done that a few times, and I just have too much empathy for students having stuff to do, and I know that a lot of other classes have big culminating assignments, and there's a lot of pressure on you in the end. So I kept the Promethean flip chart assignment pretty simple. You don't have to make a flip chart. You don't even have to modify one. You just have to go find one and very briefly talk about how you would use it in your instruction. I urge you to learn about Promethean and the flip chart world and the Promethean planet world. It's just one, type of interactive whiteboard brand. There's also smart boards. There's other brands. There's also a lot of people make their own smart board. Well, not a lot, but some people make their own smart boards using Apple TV or using Wii remotes. I mean, there's other ways to make cheapo, smart boards on the cheap. So I just had to pick one example. I think Promethean's a really solid example. I was actually reading that Smart has a larger market share than Promethean, but that could be including not just education but other sectors. But Smart also has its own version of like Promethean Planet, and I think you can download the Smart software even if you don't have a smart board, and you can use their software and make their version of flip charts, which I can't remember what those are called. So that, again, the point was that Promethean flip chart assignment is pretty simple. You can get it done pretty quickly. Maybe it'll take you 2 hours if you're exploring things and having a good time. Maybe it'll take a little less than that if you're just trying to get it done. But I hope that you'll take the time to learn about interactive whiteboards. I know that because this class is online, you don't always get to play with your hands on the technology, on the hardware. But maybe if you just take a little bit of time in this module to just learn a little bit about it, and then save some of those resources if you think they're worthy. Because with technology, it's all about just learning anything. It's about taking baby steps with things, dipping your toe in the water at first, and then saying, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this next, or I want to try this. And you just take those steps, and eventually you know how to use this thing in a really flexible kind of way and in a creative way. In the beginning, it's going to be very scripted and careful. So take a step with your interactive whiteboard knowledge. Maybe you know more about it. Go read some of those blogs that I've posted in there. There's some cool blogs with strategies for how you can use interactive whiteboards and get them into the hands of the students. Get the students up there working with them. Because it's easy to use them in a teacher-centered kind of way, in a sort of traditional teaching kind of way, with a PowerPoint on it and that kind of thing. It's a little bit harder to get the students' hands on, working on the interactive whiteboards. All right, enough about that. The final portfolio is this wiki that you've been building the whole semester. And so hopefully, if you've been keeping up with your work, you've done the hard part, which is you've built the thing, you've built your final portfolio in the Wiki Foundation assignment. And you corrected your Wiki Foundation assignment because I graded it and gave you feedback and said, please correct it, even though there's probably 10 people that still have not done that. So you have more work than other people to do if you want to make a good score in your final portfolio. So go back, if you have any issues, go back to that Wiki Foundation assignment and go back to your feedback. Go back to if you post anything on that regrade request page, there were some people on the bottom of that Wiki regrade request page that I gave feedback to, and I said you still need to do some things, and I told you what to do. And I've emailed you guys and all that kind of stuff. So if you're part of that list, go check all those things out. if you want to get your wiki into shape, because the final portfolio assignment does not tell you how to build your wiki. That was the Wiki Foundation assignment, so go revisit those instructions. The final portfolio, the big thing in it, I'm looking at the template here. On the home page, you're going to want to respond to the Philosophy of Technology Integration in the Classroom section. Read that. There's a little prompt that you pasted in from the Wiki Foundation assignment. If you don't have that prompt anymore, if you deleted it, go back to the Wiki Foundation assignment, go to the Wiki Portfolio template, and check it out. It's there on the original template that you were copying. So you would have deleted those instructions maybe, but they're probably on your wiki. You want to write a paragraph about your philosophy of technology integration. Then for the BYOT podcast, teacher welcome video, digital movie, assistive tech, unit plan modification, and Promethean flip chart pages, you want to have your artifact, the thing that you created, on those pages, and then you want to briefly reflect on how this relates to your future teaching or clinical work as a speech-language pathologist. Your readings page simply has to have your readings responses on it, so you don't have to really do anything there. The Tech Explorations assignment was first mentioned in session 2 when you built your Wiki Foundation, and then I picked it up again in session 4 and I said, hey, go start working on that page. Some of you have finished it, some of you started working on it, some of you have probably ignored it till the last minute, so that will be more work for you here as part of your SWOT, or as part of your final portfolio if you haven't done that, and it's doable. All that is, just a reminder, is for you to explore 10 resources. 5 of them I've picked, and then 5 you get to choose from my big page with all these options. Early childhood folks, though, in that choosing that you do, I ask that you do it across the content areas that you teach, and you'll see in there some instructions about that. But if you get confused, just pick 5, you know, for now. Don't worry about me telling you which 5 to pick. Early childhood folks, if you find it confusing, I would just like for you to see you do it not just in language arts, do it across science, math, language arts, social studies, and other areas. Okay, what else? The NETS-T page, that's where you copied and pasted the National Educational Technology Standards for Teachers, and all you have to do is read that list and then select yes or no. Am I able to do this? Am I able to lead students in this way? For example, what am I talking about? The first NET is about facilitating and inspiring student learning and creativity. Teachers use their knowledge of subject matter, teaching and learning, and technology to facilitate experiences that advance student learning, creativity, and innovation in both face-to-face and virtual environments. Teachers, promote, support, and model creative and innovative thinking and inventiveness. So all you have to do, you hit edit on your page and you say yes or no, because you're talking about yourself. Do you think you're able to do this? Or mostly able. You're there. You're emergently able. Put a yes there if you think so. Put a no there if you don't, if you think you still need to work on this. Some folks are really harsh when they self-assess against this, and they put no for everything. And honestly, I would put no for quite a few of these things for myself, just because that's the way I view myself. I'm really hard on myself. Like, I always feel like I have so much to learn. Some other people put yes to a lot of things. They're confident. They feel like, yeah, I think I know what that means, and I think. So I want you to sort of self-assess against this. It doesn't matter. I'm not grading it. If you put no to everything, that's not my way of thinking, oh, you failed this class. This is you just showing me, you know, you've thought about these standards against yourself. Anything where you put no is potentially useful for your SWOT and goals assignment. So let's look at that. On your SWOT and goals page, this is where you are looking at yourself in relation to the use of technology in your future practice. You're going to talk about your strengths, your weaknesses in relation to your use of technology. What are the opportunities that you have available to you? What are the threats, those things that take away your ability or reduce your ability or limit your ability to use technology in your practice? In a way, the weaknesses inside of you. So strengths and weaknesses are sort of internal to you, really. They're more intrinsic, I would say, just if you're trying to understand the difference between strengths and opportunities and the differences between weaknesses and threats. Think of strengths and weaknesses as sort of internal to you, innate to you, inherent to you. Opportunities and threats are more of those things that are outside, in your outside world, in your setting, your environment, maybe the school setting you're in, maybe the state that you work in. You know, maybe, I mean, you could include your own sort of financial situation, because lack of money reduces people's ability to access things. But I would argue that money is still not an internal thing, it's an external thing, even if it is part of your own personal finances. So that's what I mean by strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. If you look at the SWOT, if you look at the SWOT assignment, though, at the very bottom, and it'll tell you what these things mean, okay? So you don't just go off of what I'm telling you in this video. I'm just explaining it here. In the goal section, I want you to think this class is just the first step in your in this piece of your learning. You know, technology is just a piece of everybody's learning. It's something we all struggle with. It's something we all enjoy working on. I mean, it just depends. It's something we all have to do constantly. So, you know, this is just the beginning. You don't look at this class as some class that you took that's got you covered for the next 50 years or for the next 10 years. This is just a step. Hopefully your skills improved. Hopefully it forced you to do more with technology. Hopefully it made you think about different models of technology use, some of the problems that come with it, some of the ways you can work around those problems. Hopefully it did that. And hopefully you can carry some of that thinking with you, and that willingness, maybe a willingness to try things. So the goal section here is about, okay, looking at where I am now, what I know, what my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are. What goals do I want to set? What are the next things I want to learn about, do? So I want you to set 2 little bitty goals. They don't have to be huge. You don't have to knock my socks off with amazing goals to like learn how to author in some open source technology system. You don't have to do anything like that. Just 2 reasonable goals. If you have not gotten your hands on an interactive whiteboard, maybe you set the goal to play with the Promethean board down in the tech hub, because it's down there for you guys to play with it. I should have mentioned that in the assignment. Maybe you want to learn more about glogs, which, anyway, I won't say anything about that goal. I just personally don't prefer them, but a lot of people like them. So maybe you want to learn more about glogs. Just put 2 specific goals, and that's it. So you can type it, you can podcast it, and use that podcasting server from the podcast that we did earlier in the semester. You can do it as a video. You could do it as glog. So, you know, I'm open to multiple formats for how you present your final SWOT. Okay? Let's see. What else? Ongoing discussion 2, Voices from the Field, that has been posted. We've got a 5-minute video with a student. I thought, let's have a high school student. We've had some early childhood stuff, we've had some special ed stuff, we've had some middle school stuff, and we've heard from a lot of people that teach and work in the field. Let's hear from a student. So as you listen to that final Voices from the Field, just think about how the student uses technology, and let's see what your takeaways are for that. I'm not going to feed you any takeaways here. Now I'm looking at the Session 7 checklist just to make sure I've covered everything. So I've talked about everything that has points related to it. And about points, I will say, back to the course plan, I canceled 2 assignments, so I removed 24 points from the total pool that's posted in the syllabus. So you have that grading scale in the syllabus with the total points. Well, that scale is going to change slightly because we've lost 24 points that I didn't just give you. That Voices from the Field assignment had 5 points. There was one from Session 6 that got canceled. Now, I did just give you those points. And bad me for doing that, but that won't affect, those 5 points do not get lost from the total. So during Session 7, at least by the end, I need to fix that. So I need to fix that and post the updated thing. And I'll probably post it in the news feed on the front of the course. Okay, I probably won't go and fix the syllabus, so it's just too late. So we'll put it in the news feed for you, and you'll see that in the next week or 2. If you're desperate to see it immediately, just be a squeaky wheel and, you know, ask me to do it sooner. That really helps light a fire for me sometimes. Let's see. Wrapping up in other areas, you want to take that quiz over the National Educational Technology Standards for Teachers if you haven't already. You can access that through the quiz button or through this module. You can have the NETs for Teachers open while you do it. I think you can take it twice. The quiz, TK20 info acknowledgement, that was just something I made about 1.5 years ago. I made a video. If you open the quiz, you should see the video, and then I think the quiz is pretty easy and you can take it repeatedly. It's extra credit. It's me just trying to make you aware of why you should save your work in this class. You never know. Starting in the fall of 2013, this class will actually have a TK20 key assessment in it. And I'm just sort of paranoid about big organizations like, that you're a student with. What if they were to backwards say, oh, you spring 2013 people also have to go find a key assessment from that class? They could do that. So you want to have saved your work. I mean, I say they can do that. They probably shouldn't do that. I don't know that they should not do that. If I'm not telling you have a key assessment in this class, then you should not have one ever. But I still think that you should save your work. So that's what this is about, how you save your work on that wiki. The OOPS Dropbox is for any single assignment that you missed and you want to submit for full points, so you can use that. If you don't want to use OOPS, just submit it with a message, I don't need to use the OOPS, or something like that, and submit it, and then I'll give you some extra credit. Also, there's one more extra credit thing. If you submit the extra credit course survey acknowledgement Dropbox, all that is an extra layer of communication between us where you say, I understand how to take my course evaluations. So speaking of that, supposedly it's integrated into CourseDen. I should know this, but I don't. But maybe you've also been getting emails through MyUWG about how you can take your course evaluations. I would really like it if you would do that. Take that time. I know that it's inconvenient because you have a lot of work to do. I frequently don't do my course evaluations as a student because I have a lot of work to do, but it's good if you could take a few minutes just to do that, and let me know how the class went for you. I incorporated a few changes into it this semester, hopefully to make it more relevant and useful to you, and so I like to know what you think about that so that I can make the class better. This is my primary source of information about what is going on right and wrong in the class. This is the world's primary source of information, so please take the time to do that. You don't have to be super windy in your response, just a few words just to talk about the things that went well and that didn't, maybe things that you'd like to see done differently. I would appreciate that feedback. But the Dropbox, the extra credit Dropbox, is simply a way for you to communicate whether you understood how to do the course evaluation, and it gives you information on who you can contact if you don't. You probably don't want to contact me about it just because we want a third party to handle that, but I give you information in there about who you can contact. Okay, so this is probably the longest intro video to a module, but I just want to make sure that everything's been covered. It'll be a fast 2 weeks. Don't hesitate to ask me questions. I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about grades and assignments and when is this going to be done, blah blah blah, and just keep them coming, because that's the best way for me to make sure that I need that feedback to help keep me on track. Quite honestly, I'll probably make at least 2 small grading mistakes, and so you need to be watchful and make sure that you are paying attention, because I rely on you to be that way, and it does not hurt my feelings. So pay attention and ask questions. All right, I will see you online, and I will see some of you at graduation in a couple weeks. But till then, we've got a few more assignments. All right, thanks.